Well, hello there and welcome to my workshop. Now in this series I'm building a classical style acoustic guitar, but with a difference. I do hope you'll join me. Well, good morning, and you catch me in the workshop just finishing off another fixture for this project, which I'll show you in a minute. Well, in this episode I'm going to try some experimental marquetry. I'm going to make a start on doing the inlays on the top, and I really want to think about getting the structure of this guitar underway, because I think this at episode 6 is becoming a bit of a saga. So let's get on. Before I do, I just want to show you my latest piece of kit that part of which I've knocked up this morning, and that is these two, I don't know what you call them, sort of clamps, internal clamps. I watch Garby Retty, and I noticed she's got this this fixture here, which she uses when she's working on her guitars, and I thought, right, I need one of these. So this is an old worktop cut out to the shape of the guitar. I also noticed she has these internal clamps, and I thought, how on earth do you make those? Well, I've got a bit of aluminium tube, some wooden blocks, and one of these long threaded bars, and well, hey presto, we have a internal clamp, and I just turn that little wing nut there, and there we have it. Now then, at the end of the previous episode, and I should say, if you've missed any of the previous episodes, I'm going to put a link to the playlist in the description and probably up there somewhere. Anyway, at the end of the previous episode, I came up with this idea of creating a bar of dolphin for marquetry purposes. And I thought I was giving myself a bit of an impossible task. So I've been experimenting. Now, I've not filmed everything this afternoon. I've been quite busy doing some DIY, but basically, just to explain, I put all my pieces together, glued them all up, stuck them in the vise and held it really tight, like so. I left it for about 2 hours. Got that out, then I sliced off the top, or the bottom of the round bit there, and there we have a dolphin. So now let's take a couple of slices, or one slice off it, and have a look at it. see what it looks like. Now I've just given it a rough sand, but I think I'm probably on the right lines, you know. All right, well, they'll be going on the sides, and that's Santos rosewood, and I've got a bit here, so let's just wet that. And I've just wet the dolphins themselves as well. Let's see if I've got that in the right position. So they'll go on the edge. There we are. Do you know what? I think I've got something here. So I think I'm along the right lines, but I need some refinement. So this afternoon I've been making myself a couple of little scraper tools, which I hope will help me achieve that. Let me show you. I found this metal bracket, which is quite strong, and I thought would be quite good for making a scraper. So what I've done, I've cut pieces off this, ended up with some sheets, and I've then cut two shapes. One is a 12mm semicircle scraper, and one is a concave version of that, so that the two will actually fit together like so. And to these I've added little extra bits to cut the fin and the flipper. This one here is for the flipper. If I can just put that there, you can just see that that's going to create the flipper. And this one here, hopefully, is going to create the fin. I've moved it around a little bit, but I can adjust it with this tool. So I'm hoping with these two tools I can create a slightly more accurate dolphin. I've still got the problem about the dolphin's head and the dolphin's tail. Good morning. Well, I'm starting early this morning. Now then, I've got my rough design for the top. I've got the top ready, I've got some cut shells, and I've got my shell cutting rig all to the ready. I've also got a cup of tea, so I'm going to get going. I did my old trick yesterday of setting the camera up so I got my hand right in the way of the camera, so you couldn't see what I was actually talking about. I'll try to avoid doing that today. Now then, what I want to do is start on this top, and I've got some rough ideas here. Caroline's sort of sketched something out. The trouble is obviously doing pencil sketches and putting shells in, two different things, so I've got to do my own interpretation on these, but I think I can do that. So the idea with this little chap is that he's come out of the water and probably left the water below the guitar, so what we've got really is a stream of droplets and perhaps just some little hints of splashes just appearing above the top there. So to do that I'm going to have to cut some little curved pieces of shell, and I think I'm going to do those first. I've got my jeweler's saw and I've got a bit of candle, because I find if you put a bit of candle wax on the blade it helps. I'm also going to be wearing a mask for this because the shell dust is not very healthy. And so I'm going to play you a bit of music. I shall try and pick a piece that I haven't played for a while. Anyway, yeah, let's get on. Well, with the September wind howling outside, I'm going to give myself a bit of a break now. I've put in about 16 of these little pieces. The long ones were probably the hardest. The water drops aren't so hard. I think it's looking okay. I've got quite a few more water drops to put in there and some off the fin. But I think I'm getting there. Of course, I'm not going to see the final effect until I put the blue wood dye on, but yeah, I think it's going to look all right, you know. I'm going to go and have a cup of tea. Just about 20 more to go. I'll tell you, I couldn't have done it without these little tiny tools that I made, because this is really tiny work, and I'm afraid it's not going to be watchmaker's precision because my hands aren't that still, but I think the overall effect will be okay. Certainly to my standards it will be okay. Why is it that inlays never go in to the slot that looks the right size for them? Never understood that. Never understood it at all. Then you always end up making the hole bigger than you need to. You'll find it's just something's catching somewhere, and it's just finding where. Try again. Well, it's getting better. Still not there yet. Wonder if it would fit that way better. I think this hole needs to be deeper. I'm obviously only playing with a couple of millimetres on the top anyway, so I'm trying to avoid going through to the other side. I'm going to give this one a light tap. Yep, I think we're good to go. So just cover it in super glue. And I just wick the top off. And it's done. So here's the one I've just done. It's a little bit proud. I'll just sand that off. But you'll see there's gaps around it. But, you know, I'm working so small here. I don't think I can get rid of those. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I've spent most of the day doing these inlays. I've put about 40 in, and I can't tell you how many of them I've lost on the floor of this workshop. If they ping off, I just don't have a chance. I'm on my hands and knees with a torch, and there's absolutely no chance of me finding them. So I've lost quite a few. I'm sure I'll find them one day. Anyway, I'm going to call it a day today. So, I'm a bit boggled, my eyes are a bit boggled doing this. I've still got some more to do on the small dolphin, but I'm thinking the large dolphin is looking reasonably good now. Obviously you won't really see the effect until we stain the top. Anyway, back to this tomorrow. Well, it's another morning, and a bit of a chilly one at that, and I'm back doing these inlays, and I think this work's going to take quite a while, so I'm not going to finish all of this in this video, but I do want to show you what else I'm doing in terms of the structure of the guitar. Right then, I've just finished one of our weekly Guitar Builders Collective podcasts, and this week we had Eric from Electric Lady Guitars down in Devon on, and we had a great conversation about the tone, and Eric was talking about his ideal guitar, which is sort of a parlour shaped acoustic guitar, but is actually an electric guitar, on the basis that, you know, you get the tone from the guitar itself and the electric pickups as well. And it was really interesting because it was right along the lines of the things that I've been thinking about. And one of the things that came up was letting the top of the guitar, especially an acoustic guitar, vibrate as freely as possible. And I thought I could demonstrate this with a couple of my guitars. Now, here we have the Kingfisher guitar. Now, this is a hollow body construction. The thing about this one is it's got a central piece which is fixed to the top, and it's a piece where the pickups that are hidden slide up and down. But because the top is attached to this central bit, you will notice that although I've got sound holes, the sound is pretty tinny, because this top is not being allowed to vibrate at all. Now then, on this guitar, very similar shape as you'll notice, exactly the same construction, only this time there's nothing attached to the top here apart from some bracing underneath and the bridge, and the tail stop is actually connected to the back of the guitar, the end of the guitar here again, so that's not pressing down at all on this top, and we get a completely different tone. We get the bass tones coming through. So with this guitar that I'm making, I really want to avoid anything touching the top if I can help it. So in a previous video I was talking about cutting this shape out of this block of wood, and I've done that now, so I've got now two pieces there, and the idea of this is that one goes on at the end of the guitar and one goes at the neck, and that's where the neck will be attached. Now then, what I've subsequently thought is I don't want these actually touching the top. I might have to have this one touching the top because it needs to hold the tail stop, but this one actually I don't think needs to touch the top of the guitar, so I may need to cut that a bit shorter. In between these two will be my support rods, so the idea, these will go into these blocks and give the whole thing strength that way. So again, the top isn't taking any of the stress and it should be able to vibrate. But that structural work's going to have to wait until another episode, I'm afraid, because I'm running out of time and I've got my work cut out doing all these inlays, which do need to be done before I can do anything else. Thank you very much again for watching. I hope you stay with me in this series, and please don't forget to put some comments below, because it's great to get your advice. I really appreciate it. And well, I will see you soon, and in the meantime, stay safe.